Hey everyone, it's Jeff Carvalho from Highsnobiety, and I'm in Cupertino, California today at the Apple Park campus for Apple's special announcement. The events are actually happening at the Steve Jobs Theater, which is just behind the staging area. I'm gonna get down there and join the crowds enjoying the event. We've got a great opportunity here to be hands-on with two of the new phones that were launched today by Apple. Of course, we have the iPhone XS, which is the second generation of the iPhone X series, alongside the much larger 6.5-inch iPhone XS Max. I think this is the one that has really been anticipated by folks simply because of the size on it. Now, what I'm holding in my hand is two colors that you guys are probably very familiar with. Of course, it's the white and the space gray, but this year, Apple is introducing a new gold colorway in both the XS and in the XS Max. All right, so let's get into it. I think the first big feature, of course, is simply the size. The XS Max is the larger of the three phones that were announced today. What we don't have in front of us is the XR, which is the LCD screen-based iPhone. That phone, of course, packs just as much punch as the two of these. It also has the A12 chip inside of it and the 12 megapixel camera, but there's quite some differences within the actual S range compared to the R. Of course, the big feature that we've talked about is the fact that it has a new A12 chip. For some time now, Apple themselves have been producing the actual silicone that goes into the processors. What makes that really important for you guys to know is that it allows Apple to really tune in their software to the hardware in the phone. And that's quite unlike other hardware makers that really have to tune into the chips that are on the market. Apple owns the chips, they own the software, and they're able to fine tune it. And when you look specifically into the phone, into features that make the iPhone as powerful as it is, we really got to look at the camera and what it can do around photo. Apple has really done an exceptional job of fine tuning the camera and also the camera software itself to work very well with the phone. Now, what I'm about to show you is a feature that's probably never been seen before in photography. In fact, it's part of really what Apple is calling a new technology advance within photography that allows for you to have complete control over the depth of field, or the bokeh as they call it. Here currently the photo that we have is set at a f-stop of 2, which gives it the effect, but you know, if somebody was looking for something a little bit deeper, you can easily slide this depth of field control here, bringing it down to f-stop 1.4, which is quite exceptional. And for those that really don't want too much depth of field, you can bring it all back in. What's amazing about this is that this is done through the software itself. And what Apple has done is allowed you to have full control over this. Now, Apple last year, of course, launched the Oled Display on the iPhone X. This display actually takes it up a notch by using a much more durable glass. It's the next generation of OLED glass that Apple is using. We refer to these displays as a Super Retina display, and really what it comes down to is the color that you get from it. Now, of course, with the advantage of having the Super Retina display and a larger display itself on the XS Max, it means that video content really does shine on this phone. And for some time now, Apple has really aggregated all of its content under the TV app. And here we have a copy of Ready Player One that's been downloaded to the phone. Let's take a look at just how good the screen is. Just give me a couple seconds. Now, what may not resonate over video now is just how loud this phone is. Because of the width of the phone, it allows for the speakers to actually be placed wider to give a much more spatial play in the stereo sound that's coming off of it. Again, you probably can't hear this in the video, but this thing sounds great. A big ask for some time, not just from Apple, but from all phone makers, has been the ability to support dual SIM. Dual SIM allows for people who travel internationally or carry two phone numbers to be able to operate both through a single device. Now, as a traveler myself, I think it's probably one of the most burdening things is to have to change out a chip or switch carriers. So what Apple has done in the new iPhone XS and in the new iPhone XS Max is offer dual SIM support. There's one physical SIM very similar to the old phones and the phone that you probably have in your hands, but now they have an electronic eSIM that's built into the phone. For those that are in the China market, China themselves have very different standards than other places globally. So phones in the China market themselves will actually have 2 physical SIM slots built into them. And finally, durability of phone and real waterproofness is a big concern for a lot of people today. We've all had plenty of times where we've spilled something on your phone or have dropped it into water. Last year's iPhone 10 had an IP rating of 67. This year's iPhone 10s and 10s Max is rated at IP 68. That means that the phone can essentially be submerged for about 30 minutes underwater, up to 2 meters. Say if you leave your phone on a surface desk and for one reason or another you drop a beer or spill a coffee on there, the phone's gonna be very resistant to that, so no big worries. All right guys, the Apple Watch has been a big story this year. It's the first time that Apple has actually redesigned the Apple Watch form factor. The Apple Watch Series 4 itself is actually smaller than previous generations. It's actually thinner, but at the same time being slightly taller and wider, so volumetrically it's actually smaller. Absolutely the coolest feature on this thing is the fact that we have an edge-to-edge display on this watch, as well as the much talked about haptic feedback on the actual crown itself. So as you go into the watch and scroll, you get that response that you need that lets you know that you're bouncing between positions, especially when you're looking at content on this watch. That display itself, as mentioned, is about 30% larger than previous Apple models. In my hand right now, I'm holding the new gold band and the new gold casement. This is a 44mm size. It's beautiful and really, it's one of those things that you really have to touch and hold in your hand. It has really a compelling face that has now up to 8 complications on it, 4 in the center, then 4 on the edges, and the watch itself allows you to customize exactly what you want to show on your watch face. And because of the edge-to-edge screen, you can really get in there into each corner and start to call in on specific complications on that screen. Here's a look at the all-new Nike edition of the Apple Watch Series 4. Again, what makes this special is that Apple and Nike are working very closely together to do data sharing and being able to do collections against your runs and your workouts. And it links in very nicely with Nike's platform as well. Of course, what's really exciting for Highsnobiety readers is the Hermes edition of the Apple Watch Series 4. We're looking at another 44mm size casing here that features, what you'd expect from Hermes: top quality leathers, glass that are finished properly, and it just looks beautiful. All Apple Watch Series 4 feature a black ceramic back lined around a sapphire crystal finish at the center. Ladies, you get your own special edition of the Hermes watch. Here's a 40mm version featuring a tricolor strap. Really an exceptional piece and finish on this. Again, all the hallmarks of the Series 4 Apple Watch are included, as well as that custom face. This one's the real winner. All right, that's it from the Steve Jobs Theater here in Cupertino. Visit Highsnobiety for more news around Apple's launches today. Of course, the iPhone XS Max, as well as the new Apple Watch Series 4, the Hermes edition. These are quite beauties. You can get real close up with this thing on highsnobiety.com. Thanks a lot.